and passing by the Botswana border, the Mam border and the Betepos border, and entering back to Namibia from the south. Well, the things that I declared when I passed at the border be registered online. So when I'm entering from the south, this will be automatically on the system. The first question. And the other one is not a question, but it's a suggestion. I see you have a list of what your guys are doing. And this is not, as I said, I'm working for a particular language, radio service station. I think most of your things are not translated. Are you considering translating this to our people because they are farmers and they are these local community artists that really want to start paying their debts but don't understand the procedures to follow? This is the two that I wanted to share with them and ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the recording and performing artists. I thank you for the opportunity and the platform that you brought us here. And listening to the commissioner, I gathered that we need to have more engagement to understand each other. Because there is definitely a misunderstanding. I speak from the recording and performing artists. I'll give an example. We spend so much money producing content. Then we send our masters to South Africa. We pay the courier companies. Then it comes back into Namibia, we pay the 15%, actually 16%. When it gets here, it gets duplicated by the members. We lose out on that. Then you get 3 shows in a year. I wonder how our people can pay VAT with that kind of setup. I was hoping that we are coming to create, to talk, to see how can we create business or a working environment for the creative industry, because we're neglected. We don't, I'll actually give an example. The COVID, we were forgotten. We were the only sector that was not given a hand. So I'm actually thinking, should we sit NamRA, Ministry of Arts and Culture, sit down and see how can you create work for this sector for them to be able to pay government tax. You cannot pay without having that environment. So that's from me.
Yes, thank you very much.
And by the way, I'm asking again, while that is being in the channel, if our sector can be exempted from tax for now until further notice.
Thank you. My name is Ina Goro. I represent the commercials industry, I guess. Initially, when I heard about this engagement, my thinking was that NamRA had done research and was coming with, like someone behind me said, incentives. But it was a sales pitch. That's the idea I got. And I don't think any of us came here for a sales pitch. Right now, I think there's a thriving economy, but there is no reason for any of those people to pay tax. There's, like, I don't know if anyone here is excited with the state of our hospitals or how our tax money is used. So I don't think you're getting anyone here who's like, oh yes, let's make money so we can give you that money. So I think you guys need to maybe rethink your approach. Sure, you're excited from your end, but I think you guys deal with tax daily. But now if you're coming to an industry that has thrived or is thriving without paying tax, why, like, okay, we pay tax, but like a lot of the people that we work with or we know are in the industry, like, don't make enough to to pay tax. Now you're saying can't pay tax so that what? And then we have corruption on the other side. Those are the same people you're trying to convince to pay tax. So you guys need to fix your incentives before I believe you'll convince people to start paying tax. So yeah, maybe you guys should revisit that. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gordon.
My name is Ndina Kapuka, and I am a graphic designer. I have observations and suggestions, maybe before my question. Number one, when the respectable ladies and gentlemen were presenting, I realized there's so much text. Like, it's a lot of words, and you are addressing creatives to read. We want to see pictures, drawings, because I will pick up something better when I'm looking at graphics than when I'm looking at text. I sat here and I still don't know what's the difference between the income tax and VAT, right? So the other thing is you are on social media and we still don't know what is NamRA, what do you do? Yes, you do a lot of things, but I don't think you sat down and you did your research to say, okay, what do people want to see? But you have a creative interest in the country. Are you making use of it, or are you not? The other thing is, I don't think you did a survey before this engagement to actually talk to creatives and say, also, how do you work? How are you charged? Because if you actually take this up seriously, you will realize that we can actually make a lot of money. The other thing is, NamRA is like a scarecrow in the country. Every time you hear NamRA, it's like, uh-oh. So you guys are not friendly at all. And there's so many ways to be friendly and actually get more money, right? So your employees, let's also touch on that. No offense to anyone. They are rude. Capital R. I was at what is this office where we get our outstanding certificate, because we recently started operational full time and we did it actually waived, right? And we did it online. And we get there, it's like, no, you need to wait. It's like, okay, but you did it online. Okay, you need to go up to the office to, what is the 4th floor? My goodness. I found a whole family there, or maybe it's friends, were rather talking stories than actually attend to us who were there waiting. I swear to God, I said hello about 5 times until one person came to me and said, just go to the back office, maybe there's a gold shoe. I'm like, why must I do that? Okay, I already applied online. I must come to your office. Now I must now go look for your people again. Tell them, oh, you need to approve this. The other thing is, I wanted to say, I wish their banners could match their outfits. Again, no offense. You guys were really good. Kudos for branding, but we need to. We are suffering. Like Mr. Shukita said, I hope from today you will start engaging the creative industry to help you again collect more money. But again, I just need to know what is the difference between income tax and VAT, and what me as a graphic designer, let's say a freelancer or a creative agency, which one do I have to pay? Because right now we're not making that much. We're not making more than 500 plus. So the Namibian people are ripping us off. Thank you.
Remarks. And I think Commissioner, and I'm speaking under correction, Garigo can assist me. I think, Commissioner, you have given more than advice. I think you also gave 5 million. Was it 5 million? 5.5 for the COVID relief fund for the artists. So it's something maybe to note. Something that I would also like to add is that with the orange colors, which I think represents that warmth and optimism in everything, I believe NamRA has also done a great job. And as the Commissioner also say that maybe there could be few of the colleagues that are having bad day at the office. That's why maybe my colleague only met them during their bad days. So, but I believe NamRA has also done an exceptional job, and this engagement really being important. So we thank you. Mine is basically also adding to what Sula mentioned about the tax relief. And as much as it might be somehow of come on, guys, we are already in the tax relief area, but I believe it is important to consider that aspect as well. Why am I saying that? And maybe just to add to that, tax relief, it's not necessarily only because you are behind with your taxes and so forth, but we should consider also the industry that we are in and improve tax policies to boost innovation, and also for the government to identify and to maybe also look or to benchmark at other industries or maybe other countries, and just to see how other creative sector tax reliefs against the international competitions are being addressed. Because this is a very, very struggling sector, although everybody comes and tells us that, yeah, no, it has got great potential, but at the same time, it is faced with a lot of challenges. And one thing that I can maybe also add to that is, and these are just my questions. Currently, the sector is mainly depending on IP, intellectual property. And so far, we're together with NASCA. We have seen some custom officials that have been going around and to fight against piracy. Piracy has really crippled much of the music sector. Now, also just to understand what are NamRA's efforts to curb this. And also another part is for the other aspect of the creative sector, which is now when you look at people dealing with garments and so forth. And the complaint that one has also received there is when you look at fashion and all of that, is that sometimes when the stuff are being imported, the duration it takes there at customs, it causes a lot of revenue for the people who are operating. And now with the dressmaking and all of that, so that's one part. And perhaps with the changes in the world, we are seeing everybody now moving to the digital space. And moving to the digital space means that because artists are losing their revenue in terms of CDs, they are now moving to streaming. They are moving to, online downloads and so forth. Now the question here is, and I think maybe there's a new term, and Madame, I already spoke to her about that maybe we should give to NamRA to consider, which is digital custom agents. Because we want to understand what is the capacity of NamRA in terms of skills to deal with these aspects, because piracy is also taking place there, and to ensure that, there's no loss of revenue. So let me just end there. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you very much, Chief, and to the directors and the managers for all your input. It's very good that we have some sort of an engagement with NamRA for the first time. And we really appreciate it, and a lot of good points have come up from the meeting as well. My name is Paul van der Ploeg. I'm from Sandstone Films. I'm registered with the Namibia Film Commission as one of the film facilitators. I think the Film Commission is here somewhere. Up at the top, there we go.
Yeah,
That's great. I think there's 14 or 18 of us that are registered with the Namibian Film Commission, and it covers a variety of, I guess, media, arts, wherever we fall underneath there. We've been engaging with the Film Commission for a very long time regarding the classification of what the film industry actually is, because we have found that there are a lot of grey areas with, obviously originally with Ministry of Finance and now with NamRA, regarding our claims. We do understand that we must pay tax, and tax is important for our country to move forward, so we appreciate that completely. That's just one part of the discussion that we'll have, so we understand that for sure. However, the grey area is the classification of what we actually are. We've been asking for a long time to try and find out. Sometimes we can claim back because you can, like you said, we pay tax, but we can also claim tax, or if we charge tax, the VAT to our client, we can claim a certain amount of that in our expenses. We are an entertainment industry. We are a tourism industry. We support rental vehicles, hotels, restaurants, all that sort of thing. So we really want to know what the classification is of the film industry. Most of us are dealing with international productions. Many of us are dealing with just local and commercial productions, television, and so on. The film industry is one of the biggest revenue makers within the arts. Most definitely. It would be nice to know what those figures are, how much revenue is actually collected by each individual representation here, because that's really important. Then it comes back to the incentives that we've heard about a lot, whether it's tax relief or paying our taxes and getting, relief and not having to pay interest and stuff like that, which is greatly appreciated. Looking at many other countries in this industry, the successful countries in the media industry, they offer a VAT relief completely. So if you film in many countries, like even in South Africa, the attraction to them to attract the industry to those countries, to make it a successful industry, they do not charge VAT at all. So many companies, when they come to Namibia, many studios, when they want to come and shoot the big movies here, the first thing they ask is, what is your incentive? What is your tax incentive? And I'm sure you've heard those words before, hopefully from the Film Commission, because we've been asking them to engage in this for many, many years now. And we still don't have really an answer for that. And the justification of a tax incentive is really important because, number one, it does attract everybody to our country to come and first of all invest and do the movies and the films and promote, because we are advertising Namibia and paying to advertise Namibia and paying revenue to advertise Namibia, whereas we should actually be paying as a country to attract people to come to our country and film here. Secondly, the revenue that is generated in the long term from this media, that we all, everybody from every portion of this industry, is creating advertising for the country, for tourism and for more investment, for people who will be coming back to pay the revenue. And it has proven itself really well in other countries as well. So those are the two things I'd like to add as a point. One is the actual classification of what we are as a film industry, whether it's international or local, so that we know which items we can claim our VAT back on and how that works. It must be very clear. So we have that in writing, in a Gazette form, so that it's not just that it's intellectual property, which might mean that that is zero rated if we're exporting that intellectual property, and the means to make that intellectual property. It actually says in the Gazette that that's zero rated, which would mean that we wouldn't have to pay tax on anything that we use to create this intellectual property. So please, if we can have that classified, because on some claims we get turned down, and on other claims it is approved. So we don't know what that grey area actually means. And number two is obviously the incentives and the future of how we attract the business to our country to become, you want to be a world-class, first-class revenue agency. We want to be a world-class film industry and media industry. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm also Commissioner at the Film Commission from Namibia. What I wanted to say was a lot of what was just said by Mr. Namibia. Because yes, our mandate of the Namibia Film Commission is to to assist and to develop the industry and to attract foreign direct investment into the country. But we cannot do this without any incentives, rebates, exemptions, and stuff of things that is being offered by all our competitors, Morocco, South Africa, you can name them. And thus, therefore, Namibia is losing a lot of revenue. We could have employed people, hotels could have paid taxes, all of these things that was talked about. We are losing a lot of money by not providing any incentives to the film industry. So that is something that we, together with NamRA, will need to come and sit around the table and discuss this, because we have done so many times. It was referred back, no, you already have this, or no, you already have that. However, that does not make any impact when it comes to foreign direct investment.
Thank you very much. My name is Patrick Sen. I am currently the Managing Director of a Creative Culture Investments. I was formerly in private public investment, but moved into private investment. I just want to share some data from the National Labour Force Survey 2018 report that says that 4,910 jobs are in the arts, entertainment, and recreation sector, which is equivalent to 0.5% of the labour force. 0.5%. In 2018, the arts, entertainment, and recreation sector had a significantly higher representation of women, accounting for 3/4 of the cultural and creative workforce. In Namibia, the cultural and creative employment was characterized by a relatively proportional self-employment. This is around 35.3% of the people in the sector, and cultural workers are self-employed. It further then concludes and says, in terms of income, in 2018, the average monthly earnings in the arts, entertainment, and recreation sector was $3,818 million. This is $4,116 less than the average of all Namibian workers. Okay, so just let's use those two statistics. So I think if the average pay is 3,818, people of 0.5% of the labor force are employed, we're looking at a very marginal tax basis within the current status. That, you know, it's kind of intriguing to the creative to say, do we even qualify for the engagement from NamRA? So I think having many years experience in the creative sector, there needs to be, in terms of a short, medium, and a long-term strategy, particularly with the creative sector. Because I think we agree with the Commissioner that we want to add to the tax administration, we want to add to the basis, but the environment is so toxic that most of us who want to give more to Namibia, want to contribute to the tax basis, we are unable to, and there is bottlenecks, and we understand the tax policy, but let's look from the administration perspective, just quickly as an example. If I declare my taxes, there is no grievance mechanism for terms and payments. Most artists will even get employed by government, private sector, other institutions, and not get paid on time. So what are the tax administrative implications of waiting 3, 6, 9 months for payment? Because there is no grievance mechanism, for instance, for you to say, I've declared this as an income source, I've gotten maybe the deposit, but I didn't get the rest of the payment. So how does that affect the administrative side of tax? So I think because the creative sector is unregulated, not professional, and not regulated, not formal, it makes it very difficult in terms of long term, because as NamRA, I think you want to say, how do we collect in 10 years also? How do we collect in 20 years from now? Not just how do we collect right now. And I think what the artists are saying is, we need an enabling environment so that you can broaden the base, so that administratively, you can collect more money for the country. The current environment is so toxic for artists, particularly when it comes to terms and payments and grievance mechanisms and the implication of tax, that it seems like you will only be having a small base if we continue with the status quo and we don't have a diversified strategy that talks about different actions within the short, medium, and long term. Thank you.
Chelsea Joss, Namibian entertainer and broadcast specialist. Mine is, I think most of the areas we covered, but I wanted to do just a quick comment and advice. Perhaps it's just a suggestion that I want to put out. The issue around tax policy You have tax policy, you have NamRA, administrative and policy makers, or policy pushers. Now, you guys are going on these engagements that you are having, yet tax policy is not there. There's a lot of things that come out that relate to tax policy, and then you don't have that kind of synergy happening. Is it the first time perhaps maybe that you are picking up that there are issues related to tax policy and tax policy was not invited to this engagement? Because I think it's important, because we tend to do this globally. I mean in Africa, where we pick up global trends and global methods, and then we replicate them. And when we replicate them, they don't really work for our people. And then our people have a situation where you are now trying to get something done, and bureaucracy takes over, and that bureaucracy, in many cases, doesn't really work for the people. And I just wanted to find out, would it not be a possible way that you do this type of engagements with tax policy available and there? Because that was going to lead me to my next point, which is the question I want to ask Stephen is, in terms of the budget committee, National Budget Committee, does NamRA form part of that budget committee? It's just a question that before I move on to my next point, does NamRA form part of the tax committee? I mean the budget committee.
And you are directing that to me.
Yeah, I just want to you are the spokesperson, I'm sure you would know. Before I go on to my next point.
In the interest of time, can you go on to the next point? We know this one.
Okay, my next point is because of the fact that I wanted to ask, and if this suggestion, because I'm looking at the fact that the creative industry overall has been poorly taken care of, and I'm saying poorly taken care of because if you look at the mining industry has gotten those incentives that it got, but the creative and the arts industry has not gotten that. The budget, as we speak, for this year, I'm sure you know this, is about 39 million. Now, 39 million, out of that, you're looking at roughly around 3 million that went to the Arts Council, 6 million to the Film Commission. Film Commission produced roughly around 75 million in taxes that it produced. Now, I'm asking this because my suggestion is, would it not be possible for you, as NamRA, to look at motivating the budget? And I know Sam has said this about us pushing that agenda. We can push it. But you motivate a budget incentive to say, let's increase this 39 million to 70 million. So that, because South Africa has that, their budget is roughly around 6 billion. But Namibia's budget to the creative industry or the arts industry is 39 million. Now, 39 million, you have grants of 160 something that the National Arts Council pushed out about a month ago. 160 something would not be able to enable an environment. I'm talking about enabling an environment where artists can flourish. Visual artists can flourish, filmmakers can flourish, musical artists can flourish, and it can only happen if the biggest budget towards arts does not go to administration, because that's where it's going at the moment. So I'm just asking, is that possible from a NamRA perspective to ensure that you push for an increase in the budget to create a conducive environment? Because that's literally what NamRA is about, is creating a conducive environment so that you can have returns coming back through tax payments.
My name is Titi Chirumba. I'm a visual artist. My problem is just to ask few questions. When I registered for tax pay, I was introduced to go and register for a tax. And once I registered, I want to say this as a concern, but because there is some people here, they are not accounted, And some people, they are not really used with the internet or how to go through internet and start filling up the returning form. So this is a main question that I have, because it makes a person not to feel on time. And this brings to the problem that we are calling as what we are talking about here, retarded the person to fill up his tax pay. And the second question is about I asked one lady at the office, because she told me if you are a taxpayer, you need to provide what they call tax provision. When is that have to be paid and how to calculate that? Because it's giving us a problem. You don't know how to calculate it, because sometimes you are not a regular earning. Like as an artist, we don't get really incomes the way it is. But the lady was telling me, no, you need to start paying to give a provision at tax, which how to pay it, and if you don't get any incomes, how you are going to pay about this money. And the last question, when I heard about the custom, if I receive tourists at my business places, and in fact they buy one artwork or two, should the artist they want to pay the fees for exploitation, or is the tourist who is going to pay for it? And this is what I wanted to know, that if NamRA can come with a better day to give us a workshop, explain very deeply about everything that we need to understand to start and to become the taxpayers as you are requesting. That is what I wanted to ask.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nathan. I create content for radio broadcasting. Mine is a comment and a question. There is obviously from this engagement, it's clear that there is a problem with classification when it comes to the creative industry. But I saw a number on the presentation that there is 588 of them registered. So I don't know how you classified that, but that's just a comment. My question was, the 50,000 threshold, I know it is for individuals, but what is the threshold for CCs and PTYs? Because some of the creatives already trade as companies. So what is the threshold for CCs and PTYs annually? Thank you.
My name is Elad Ronas, the Bushman from the Omaheke region. I come because I come for a so long road, travel for so long, to be in with, to get that opportunity of the arts. Now, NamRA, all I have, one thing that I'm asking for NamRA is to do the inspections at the Arts Council, right person on the right position. Right person on the right position. Because, and the other thing is, we are in different categories of the arts. The most one that is left out here in our country is visual art. I'm a visual artist and I'm feeling that pains. Because the leaders are always concentrating only on other arts. Visual art is totally left out. The ministries are not working together for this art. Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture. And the other thing is, there is no marketing places where we can, our government is not thinking about us. If you are selling kapana or fruits and whatever, then you are a person, but not in art. So it's very painful for us. There is a big gap here that is becoming bigger and bigger between the rich people and the poor people, and it grows and grows. The people, some of the people are smiling. We see the green number plates all around, but please do this for us. Go to the National Arts Council and ask them one by one, in this year or this years on this position, what have you done? What did you work for the arts and so on? Do for us, and we are very painful and we cry. Thank you.